This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Kickstart summer at Lowe's with Memorial Day savings on major appliances like the Smart Whirlpool Top Load Washer, featuring the 2-in-1 removable agitator in a color you'll only find at Lowe's. Take it out for bulky items, leave it in for a more thorough clean. You can customize any load, plus skip steps with the Load and Go dispenser. Simply add detergent once and skip the refills. Memorial Day savings start now at Lowe's. Shop in-store or online today.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. A lot of my friends, they are going bat-ass crazy for the new trailer for Kevin Smith's upcoming Masters of the Universe.
Oh, hello, yes. I have not seen it yet. Oh, it's amazing. Is it?
Yeah, it's a Netflix show, and it dropped yesterday. And what's really got people just losing it is Mark Hamill, our boy Luke Skywalker, as the voice of Skeletor. And he only says 3 words in the trailer, but people are just losing it.
Call your champion.
Awesome.
Call your champion.
Oh, I'm looking at the trailer. Yeah, actually, the animation looks pretty cool. I was a little worried. I like the old school Masters of the Universe, so I was like, I don't know if I want this change. And it looks pretty badass.
It looks so great. It's like kind of like the anime style of like the new Castlevania stuff, and I think it's done by the same company. And the trailer has "Holding Out for a Hero" as the song.
Hero.
It's amazing.
I like that they kept the same costumes. They didn't try to like update them for today's times. They all look like 90s toys. They remind me of the toys we had.
Right, it's like updated, but still has that vibe of the original. I'm pumped. Although I got to be honest, not too excited about that Skeletor voice.
What?
I want this.
It's the sorceress, you boob.
Get that guy.
You only got three words so far.
Well, it wasn't enough for me to get excited about him.
Just as I suspected. Hello, you metal-munching moron.
Now let me hear the Mark Hamill Skeletor again.
Call your champion.
It's too ballsy. I want a more nasally.
I totally hear the Joker now too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah.
You flea-bitten fur-brain.
Yeah, I want that. I want that guy.
I feel like he's probably not around.
You don't think?
Well, or he's probably very old.
Ooh, his name is Alan Oppenheimer, and he is 91 years old.
Oppenheimer. Come on, Oppenheimer.
He can make it happen.
You worthless hunk of fur.
Alan Oppenheimer, I believe is his name. Alan, I think, used to do stuff besides just voice acting. I think I know that name from, like, TV shows.
Looks like he's wearing a Star Trek uniform in a picture.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he sounds very familiar. Who did he play in Star Trek, Vicky? Let's see if we can find out.
See. One moment. He was also in the original Westworld.
Pathetic pair of pitiful pinheads.
Yeah, that name sounds very, very familiar. Why do I feel like he may have been the bald scientist guy in $6 Million Man?
Maybe. He was Nizu Ambassador in Voyager.
Yeah, duh, BJ.
Yeah.
Come on.
And in Deep Space Nine, he was Captain Kyo.
Captain Kyo, yeah.
Yes, of course.
I can't remember those folks.
And then in Next Generation, he was Korov.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Oh, Karov. That sounds like a Klingon. All right.
It sounds like a doctor on Grey's Anatomy.
And he was Dr. Rudy Wells in the $6 Million Man.
That's who he was.
Wow.
It's Rudy Wells.
Yeah. How do you know these things, dude?
I remembered Oppenheimer's name. It was just a name that stuck out during the credits. So he was Rudy Wells.
That is a very memorable last name. Oppenheimer.
Wow, so Rudy Wells was Skeletor. I never knew that all this time. And a lot of folks that watch $6 Million Man like me growing up, you know Rudy Wells, you know the doctor. So he was Skeletor?
Why do I surround myself with fools? Even the robots are smarter than you.
Well, you know something, I got to give him a lot of credit. You know what I mean? The fact that he's that voice.
Come in, you royal boob.
I would never know that was him. I would never know that was Rudy Wells.
Skeletor sound drops.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Sorceress, you boob.
Yeah.
We ran through them all.
And he is actually back for Masters of the Universe Revelation. He will be
Is he Skeletor's dad?
No, he'll be Moss Man.
Why? Well, if you're gonna hire the guy, have him be Skeletor and make Hamill Hoss Man.
He
Moss
was,
Man, not
That
Hoss
too.
Man.
he was a lot. He did a lot of voices for He-Man. Actually, he did Cringer, Battle Cat, Man at Arms, Dr. Sheevan, Melakatha, Angus Og. Like, he did a lot of voices. So
But the Skeletor voice was so iconic, and somebody even said Mark Hamill voicing a bad guy. No surprise there. Another person said, this sounds too much like his Joker character.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally thought that as well.
I love that we're just deconstructing 3 seconds of audio.
Yeah.
not even.
Yeah, well, I think that's that. But Mark Hamill is so beloved in the world of voice acting that they just, I felt like that's what they were going for. And maybe Oppenheimer just can't do that high-pitched voice anymore. I don't know. It's odd that they didn't at least give him a shot.
Or they just wanted to use the star power of Mark Hamill. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be
probably
fine. I just love that old Skeletor voice. It's going to take an adjustment to get used to the new Skeletor.
Oh,
Totally.
well, don't worry about it. If you miss it, you can also just watch Lost in Space to see where they ripped it all off from with Dr. Smith.
I have
Just watch
zero
that.
interest in watching Lost in Space.
Of course you do. Why would you want to watch the original? You know what? Sure. Watch the Flintstones instead of the Honeymooners. Go ahead. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love the Flintstones.
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, again, just watch all the ripoffs. Thank you.
Does Lost in Space have Battle Cat? Or
No.
Ram Man?
No.
So shut it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I know that all you guys are excited for it, but that was wasn't my generation. I'll watch it, and hopefully we'll enjoy it. At least it be Hamill being in it and Dr. Rudy Wells being in it. All right. At least it's something for me. Yeah. But yeah. But hey, a lot of folks are losing their S, though. They're loving this. So thumbs up from everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This will be my Saturday morning cartoon.
I'm pretty excited to check it out.
All right. It's going to be on Netflix sometime. I don't know when. Maybe tomorrow.
Someday.
Probably not. Yeah.
Does it not
Russell
say?
Wilson. I don't know. It didn't. I don't
July
think it said.
23rd on Netflix. Boom.
July 23rd
Nice.
already. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is close. That is damn close. All right. Russell Wilson spoke to the media for the first time since all of the trade rumors started a while back. So you're going to hear from Russ. Steve's got it for you with the Miggs Report at 6:19 on The Rock.
BJ and Miggs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Kickstart summer at Lowe's with Memorial Day savings on major appliances like the smart Whirlpool top-load washer featuring the 2-in-1 removable agitator in a color you'll only find at Lowe's. Take it out for bulky items, leave it in for a more thorough clean. You can customize any load, plus skip steps with the Load and Go dispenser. Simply add detergent once and skip the refills. Memorial Day savings start now at Lowe's. Shop in-store or online today.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle.
Well informed on the issues of the day? Not this guy. Live from the KISW News Center in downtown Seattle, this is the Miggs Report.
Well, thanks, you guys, and thanks to Korn. Not the band.
Oh.
But the one on the cob, because today is Corn on the Cob Day. Perfect time for barbecues. Throw that corn on the grill and enjoy yourself a little butter on it as well.
All right.
I don't know why I'm telling you how to eat it. I think everyone knows how to eat corn.
I'm not sure. Could you tell me that again? I'm a little confused.
Yeah,
Popcorn,
Yes.
always great.
That's
Yep.
the only
All
way
right.
to do it.
Kettle.
Ooh, kettle corn, yeah.
Corn
Oh,
is
you don't like corn
fantastic.
on the cob?
It's all right.
Oh, you are an idiot.
Wow. Whoa. That was aggressive.
Right.
It was.
And deservingly so.
Yeah. I mean, it's, sorry, Danny, but the kid gloves are off.
That's fine.
It's been, 5-6 years? It's about time we tell you how we really feel.
That's fine. I've known it the whole time. I want to do corn on the Traeger.
Yeah. I corn on the Traeger all the time.
I've never done it.
Is that an Urban Dictionary thing?
Yes.
Okay.
It's when you know this girl. No, I'm kidding.
No, you gotta do it Mexican style. Get your elote with mayonnaise and cheese and some spice on there. It's so good.
That is good.
I still love, my favorite was at the White Sox baseball stadium that we went to for one time at a radio convention in Chicago, and they had as one of the concessions was just corn on a cob, but they would cut it off the cob and then just mix it with like butter and other seasonings and into a bowl, and it was you just ate it that way. I was like, so simple yet so damn delicious.
Yeah, I forgot about that, Steve. That was a nice, and I don't think I've ever seen that in any other ballpark. That was tasty.
That was the only ballpark I've ever seen it in, and they would add other toppings, but just basic corn and butter.
So that's what they have in Chicago for the White Sox, and we have crickets for the Mariners.
Yep. Mm-hmm. A little butter, just as good.
Yeah. Is that why they serve crickets at T-Mobile? Because no one's there anyway, and that's what you can hear?
Wow.
Shut
There you go.
Too soon?
Well, I mean, hey, there are only a couple of games under 500, PJ.
Yeah, you're right. What am I doing?
We're talking about how it's corn on the cob day, but June, and we're not midway through yet, so we have plenty of time to celebrate it, is National Candy Month. So, someone went on Google Trends to figure out what candies are most popular in which state. The most popular candy seemed to be Skittles and Starburst. Starburst. Or Starburst.
Really? In the whole country?
Yes.
Those are the best.
Oh, that's insane.
Each have 7 states a piece for a popular candy. But I was wondering what you think is the most popular candy here in Washington.
Meth.
Wow. That's New Mexico, BJ.
We actually share it with New Mexico. It's pretty amazing.
Congratulations, New Mexico.
It's not meth, although I came in number 2.
All right. I'm going to go with M&M's because I love M&M's.
Wrong. Picky.
Skittles.
That is part of the top ones, but not for Washington.
Dang it.
In Oregon, it's Starburst. So they're part of like the majority. Danny.
Well, just because Steve and I'm going to go with Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids, great guess, but wrong.
Yeah, it's got to be chocolatey. It's a chocolatey treat. It's got to be.
I'm going with Butterfingers.
Butterfinger, also great, especially in my Menchie's ice cream.
Yep.
Wrong.
Damn. Okay. Well, what do we got? Hershey Kisses, Steve? I mean, I'm trying to think of something.
It is chocolate. It's let's just say sometimes some will lean towards the left, others will lean towards the right.
Oh. Really? So it's Twix.
Bing, bing, bing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Specifically
Twix is
love
the
Twix
favorite.
because that's the dominant. No, it's just Twix in general.
Really? That's our favorite in Washington State, Twix.
Yeah.
I don't hate that.
No, I'm okay with that. It's not my favorite, but I'm not disappointed by it. If someone walked in right now in our studios and said, "Here's some Twix," I'd be like, "I'll eat them."
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to argue with that either.
Fair.
You know what? This is what a dream come true if somebody would walk in right now. Wouldn't that be great? Somebody just walked in. First of all, we go, I don't know how you got in the building, but that's okay. Here, you gave us Twix.
I'm okay with someone breaking security protocol if they're coming in with food.
Yeah.
Personally. All right, let's talk Seahawks. Yesterday, they're doing their OTAs, and Russell Wilson showed up, so a lot of people were happy to see that. And he also did a press conference afterwards. And, of course, the main topic is going to be all the trade rumors. Granted, it's all been like shut down. He's with the Hawks. Everything's cool. But, for a good month or so, everybody was losing their collective mind. Like, is there a rift between Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll and John Schneider? Does he not want to be on the team? Is his agent saying there's 4 teams that if he's going to be traded, these are the teams he'd want to go to? The Chicago Bears, they were on the high of highs, and then they cried massively because they couldn't get Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So this is all going on, and the press conference was really good. It was about 25 minutes or so, and he made it very clear that he's not leaving Seattle. He loves Seattle, wants to be here for a very long time. But people did ask about the trade rumors, and here's Russell's response to that.
Well, I think, first of all, obviously I love Seattle. I love playing here. I think there were some, unfortunate frustrations after the season. Obviously, you want to win it all and do it all. And, I think, unfortunately, it got a little bit blown out of proportion a little bit. In terms of the trade talks, I think that the reality was there were a lot of people, there was a whole thing saying that I requested a trade. And that's just not true. You know, I didn't request a trade, you know, so everything kind of started from there. And then obviously tons of teams were calling. And I think that the reality is that I didn't really want to go anywhere else. I wanted to play in Seattle, but if I had to go somewhere, these are the teams I would go to consider. At the end of the day, I have no trade clause, right? So I think for me though, you know, I had a great conversation with Coach Carroll, had a really great conversation with John too. You know, we're on the same page. You know, we're here to do what we're meant to do, and that's to win it all. Coach Carroll and I's relationship couldn't be stronger on it. You know, my focus is to win, and winning is everything to me.
Winning is everything to him, BJ.
You know what? I like that answer. I think we did get a little insight into what was going on. I was afraid Russell would just be too much rah-rah, but he was positive, but also said, yeah, you know, which made me feel like there was a moment where if we weren't on the same page, he's the teams I would go to. So definitely I think Russell was like, we need to get on the same page. Is what he's saying. It's what I'm reading between the lines of all that.
And it was interesting because at one point they talked about like when it all came out because it was on the Dan Patrick interview. And so he even said, it's like, look, I was going on to do the Man of the Year, talk about the Man of the Year stuff. These questions came up. He kept pressing. He was hitting me with questions I wasn't ready for. It almost sounded like he was like, I wasn't prepared, and I just kind of started speaking honestly, and that's what came out. I didn't mean any harm by it, and it got blown out of proportion. But one person did bring up a great question, and that question was, well, why'd you guys wait so long to address it, and you just let the media go nuts with it? And here's Russell Wilson's answer to that.
Sometimes things are family matters. Not everybody else is a part of it at the time, you know, because the reality is that, you know, there was calls going around that I could have possibly been traded. You know, I think the reality is that we had to have a lot of conversations. We had some great ones along the way, and it made our relationship stronger, really. Me and Pete and John and all that. So I think more than anything else, the reality of sports is that a lot of things can happen, right? And that's just the reality, right? And I think that for me, you know, I think the reality is that the greatest thing about it all is I'm here. I'm ready to roll. I'm more focused than ever. I feel faster. I feel stronger. I feel smarter. You know, the reality is that I feel more dangerous than ever. I feel like I can do, you know, everything we want to do. You know what heals all things, Dave? Winning.
Yeah, Dave. Winning.
Dave. How's Dave? My name is not Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Come on,
Dave's
Jimmy.
Not here, man.
It was Softy from Sports Radio. Okay, that's the question. He goes, he knows everything, Dave.
Wow, Softy. Dave. Okay, you know what? On Softy's show, I want someone to go, anyway, so BJ. Come on, Dave. Right. Do that for us. We let him say Dave on our show. How about in one of your interviews, just have somebody call you BJ? That's all I ask, Softy. That's it.
You know what? So we talked about this last season. I'm convinced that Russell Wilson has some kind of like he had somebody behind the scenes, maybe a teammate, puts him up to it, but like dares him to use a certain word or a catchphrase. Because remember in the past, there was a time during one of his press conferences where he wouldn't stop saying this.
It was tremendous.
He just kept saying everything was tremendous.
Yes.
I don't know if you were picking up on the word, BJ.
Yeah?
Did you pick up on
I really wasn't paying attention. What word did he use?
It was a word and a phrase, and that was reality. The reality is this, reality is that.
How many times did he say reality? I missed that.
Well, I had a couple extra minutes this morning when I was listening to it, so I decided to isolate all the realities, at least for the first 20 minutes of this press conference, and I was running out of time. So here's Russell Wilson just telling us what the reality is in about a minute.
I think the reality is that that's the only thing I'm focused on, and I think that's just a reality. I think that, and the reality is, and I think that's just a reality. The real reality is that I'm here, because the reality is that the reality of sports, and that's just the reality, right? I think the reality is that, the reality is that, I love my teammates. The reality is that, because the reality is that, I forget, I think I was in the Bahamas or somewhere. I think that the reality was there are a lot of people, I think that the reality was that I didn't really want to go anywhere else. Well, I think anytime in sports, obviously things can change. I think that's just the reality. Everybody knows that, and the reality is that I think that, I've always been compartmentalized. The reality is that, my mind is so focused on us doing it. The reality is that your mind's got to be stronger than your feelings. And I think that the reality is that you can't get emotional or have feelings about little things.
Dude, you're right. Someone's got to be betting.
It has to be. He's like, bro, watch this. I'm going to say the reality at least 30 billion times.
Wow.
How much are you going to give me?
He didn't say tremendous much, but he said reality a lot. And then previously he just kept saying tremendous.
It's the reality, Russell Wilson. If he was a wrestler, that'd have to be his name. And that's the reality of the situation.
Do you feel like there was a point where the Seahawks are going, if we can get something really stupid, we will trade him. Like, if somebody's dumb enough to give us what we ask for, sure, here you go.
I don't think they had like a set thing that they wanted, but they'd be dumb not to listen, because who knows what someone's going to offer.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I feel like they're like, you know what, man, at some point we're going to have to say goodbye. And, the reality is
that is the reality.
Somebody offers you a ton, you're going to take it.
It was tremendous.
I'm listening to this. You just listen to the press conference and you're like on the edge of your seat waiting. Is he going to say the reality again?
Oh, he did.
And it just was and it seemed to be whenever he was talking about the trade stuff, especially. So I don't know if it was like a crutch or like that's just like how he was like trying to handle it. I don't know. Or maybe he's just lying to us but he says it's the reality.
Well, that's, whenever anybody goes, can I be honest? Or, no, well, to be honest, it's like, wait, so previously, this whole conversation, you haven't been honest. Now you're being honest. Oh,
You've been lying to me this whole time, Russell?
Yeah,
it's not tremendous.
It was tremendous.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Can I be frank? It's like, well, no, Dave, you can't be frank.
So I said, this makes me love Russell even more. Thanks, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, I noticed it, but I didn't notice it that many. And that was no doubles. Like, that was straight up. I was just flagging every time I heard the reality and just grabbing that clip and popping it.
And you didn't even finish the whole interview, you said.
There's still another like 4 minutes, and I just ran out of time.
There's probably another 5 realities in there.
Right? Quite possibly. All right, well, Mariners, the reality is they suck. 8-3, they lost to the Detroit Tigers.
Go Mariners!
They're done with the Tigers. Now they're off to Cleveland. They play them at 4 o'clock.
Oh, that's not going to get better.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's the reality, BJ.
Okay.
Oh, man, what a game yesterday, especially if you're a Vegas fan or you just hate Colorado, because Vegas beat Colorado 6-3, ended up advancing to the semifinals. They won that series 4-2. They were down 2-0 and came back and just spanked them.
Wow. Sorry, Danny, because I know Danny was rooting for the Avs.
And
that's all good.
How about Vegas? 3 of the 4 seasons that they've been in the NHL, they've made the semifinals.
That's insane.
What a success story.
That is, when you say semifinals, that's the round before the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, the Final Four.
Yeah,
they're in the Final Four.
That's so they got the conference championship basically. Like you said, 3 out of 4 years. That's insane.
I mean, it just gets you more excited for the Kraken. I mean, this is a team that did the same thing as we were going to do, which is the expansion draft, and great leadership and great ownership and great coaches. So let's hope that we have the same kind of success. A lot of pressure now on the Kraken, huh?
That's true, but at least it's something to be excited for, knowing that it can be done, or at least that we can be competitive, even if we make the playoffs 1 out of those 4 years or 2 out of the 4 years of our first existence. That's still pretty amazing.
And what a game! I mean, both teams scored on their first shot. It was just like, oh boy, it's going to be one of those games. The arena, T-Mobile Arena, was just rocking too for the Vegas Golden Knights. It was a lot of fun. So they're going to be taking on Montreal on Monday to start the semifinals, and then Tampa Bay and New York, the Islanders, they start on Sunday. As far as weather, 61 degrees. That's the reality of it, and it's going to rain. And that's what's up.
That is what's up. So it's Vegas versus Montreal.
Vegas versus Montreal.
So this is definitely a weird playoff thing this year.
They reshuffled everything because of the COVID, and they finally opened up the border so that they can have an American team take on a Canadian team.
There we go.
But they're going to use like private jets and stuff. So yeah, they had to reshuffle things at each round to make this work.
I see. That makes sense. Yeah, that is very, very weird because you wouldn't expect, like Montreal wouldn't expect to play a team like that unless it was the Stanley Cup.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of working around differently. I just hope any team other than Tampa Bay, because they just recently won the Cup. But Montreal would be awesome because I love Carey Price, and he's just one of those goalies that never won a cup. And it'd be great for him after all these years to finally get one. I love Vegas because of a goalie thing as well. And then the Islanders are a fun young team, and Matthew Barzal, former T-Bird, is on that team.
This is a very interesting year, Steve, because one of those teams, the Lightning, the Canadians, or the Islanders, would not be advancing if it was a normal playoff, because they would have faced somebody else that would have beat them, obviously.
Yeah, you're right, because they'll all be in the same conference.
Yeah, so this is really, really strange.
And Vegas also got Shea Theodore, who's a former T-Bird. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow. This is, you know what? I love these weird years, man.
Yeah, this is going to go down as one that, like, how did that happen? How did we have this team taking on this team in the Stanley Cup semifinals?
Some people are going to look back and they'll go, wait, what? Oh, COVID. Okay.
I do love seeing all the love for Vegas, though, on my social feeds, just because there's so many, like, Vegas fans. And it's like, I was actually really happy last night that they won. I wanted the Avs to win, but, like, seeing just how much people are supporting him, it was like, this is cool.
It's such a great success story. I mean, just what they've done for Vegas in general, like, just that city really, I mean, because when they first started, that was when those awful shootings happened at that country music show.
Oh, right.
And so the team kind of became the distraction for the city and the community, and the players really stepped it up, and they got really connected with the community as well with the Vegas Strong stuff and all those things. And I think in a weird way that ended up making that city fall in love with that team super quick. And also success helps. As Rusty says, winning fixes everything, Dave.
Yeah, Dave. And as you know, Danny, I mean, the excitement around that arena and seeing everybody so excited to see a game, man, it was so good to almost get in the arena and see a nice
Dude, I thought about that again yesterday. I bought a shirt. I bought a hat. We had the tickets, and then we get the call from the stupid ticket broker saying we don't have tickets after all. We could have went that first year.
I remember that, I thought, there haven't been many times that Steve has let me down. Usually he's delivered on everything he said he could do, but this was the moment where I thought, Steve's losing a little bit of his edge.
Oh, whatever. You found you were happy to watch me be miserable that night.
That's very true.
I feel like you actually wanted to say, I feel like you probably called them and said, I know you say it's 100% guaranteed, but what's it going to cost for you guys to screw us over on the tickets?
You really don't get excited over much where if something doesn't happen, I've never seen you get upset. You're like, all right, well, whatever. You always just roll with the punches. This was the one time I was like, whoa, Steve is not rolling. He is like,
I was furious. I bought a hat and a shirt for the damn game.
Yeah, you did. And then we went to the bar, and there you are just sitting at the bar, watching the TV with your hat and shirt going, I want to burn these two. I'm going to take this hat and shirt and throw it in the trash.
I'm wearing a hat and shirt for the Vegas Golden Knights, rooting for, I think it was the Rangers that night, because I was just so mad at the whole situation. I couldn't even root for the team. So everyone's looking at me like, why is this guy cheering when the other team scores while wearing their merchandise?
A lot of confused drunk people at the bar that night. They were like, what is with this guy?
Which sums up Vegas.
They were like, sir, can I show you a mirror? Because I really don't think you're rooting for the team that you think you are.
That guy's so wasted. He thinks he's rooting for the Vegas Golden Knights, but he's not.
Yesterday, Steve, or is it Dave, got this one wrong.
What number is indicated by the Roman numeral D?
D nuts?
No.
D 50?
No. 100? No. Who's co-starred alongside?
These nuts was not really a guess.
All right, then give me a number.
I don't know, 1,000.
No.
These nuts.
You were close, though. It was 500. You want a shot at beating Steve? Okay, you got it. 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Miggs at 6:51 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's a question from a listener. My house is currently in foreclosure. I've stopped making payments. What can I do to save my house?
If you're already in foreclosure behind on your mortgage, you can stop the foreclosure by filing a bankruptcy. There's different types of bankruptcy. Chapter 13 can help you catch up on your house payments if you're behind. It would mean that you'd have to start making your house payments again and catch up on the amount that you're behind over 5 years. You could also take off or strip off your second mortgage, which would help you to reduce your housing payment every month, especially once you're done with the plan and done catching up on your first mortgage. We could also try to buy you some time by filing a Chapter 13 case. Filing a Chapter 13 would definitely stop your foreclosure.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. And thanks for listening.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.